So why Baird? Why not? First and foremost, we actually had decided to use Baird based upon the assumption that he didn't have his story told in Gears of War 3. Cole got to have his moments, Marcus had his moments, Anya, everybody else had their moments, but Baird was kind of just left in the back being a sarcastic asshole. So from there, we decided to put him as the main character. However, once we actually got data from Microsoft that he was one of the most beloved characters in the entire franchise, that it really seemed like a no-brainer.
Baird is like one of my favorite characters of the franchise. I'm excited to have a game based around him. I mean, I just love that character in terms of his attitude and his humor, and like I'm by nature a very sarcastic being, so having a character that kind of says the things that I would say is really fun, and he's the lovable bastard of the series, which is great. And part of it too for me is actually the voice actor. Fred Tatasciore is just like, he's one of my favorite voice actors. He's a great person to work with. And I just love every time we're in the studio with him, and so having to continue to work with Fred is just great.
I personally believe that Baird is so beloved by the fans because we live in a world where being cynical and snarky and sarcastic is the norm, especially on the internet, and I think that's why he resonates with a lot of gamers.
Baird is a little bit of an enigma. I mean, we know the character, but we don't know how he became Baird, right? What is it that happened in his life that made him who he is, right? Who he was in Gears 1, 2, and 3. Judgment is not exactly an origin story, but we still reveal something very interesting about Baird. Why is it that such a smart guy can never be an officer?
You go from a time when he was a lieutenant, a leader of a squad, fresh out of the officer academy, to now to where you get to see him go on trial for kind of taking matters into his own hands.
To be able to play with the character and sort of present the story from his life that was such an impactful story for him, that basically changed his life, was a great thing. So we worked with the writers very heavily on that.
Some people don't necessarily pick up on it, like the things that we tried to get across in Gears of War 3, like, you know, his name is Damon Baird, and nobody calls him Damon except Cole. And it's just one of those things, it's a relationship thing between the two of them that only they share, that they occasionally use first names, which no one else does, right? And it's trying to find those little sort of subtle things.
Obviously there are other characters too. It's not necessarily like 100% focused on Baird, and maybe there are some other guys there. It's still a story of Kilo Squad, so there's Cole and two other characters there. But you know, let's be clear here. I mean, he's the leader of the Wolf Pack, so that's his story mainly.